A voyage on the voyage of outer spaciness intrigue. And you are watching Dark Heresy, Session 14, Vidcast, with your host, Robert James Fremantle, and
Laurie Cousins.
We're going to be reporting on what happened in last night's game. So let's get on with it. That's right, Session 14, or better known perhaps as Patch 1.14, to the ongoing storyline.
Yes, it won't be version 2 until we get into Ascension.
One of the major things that's happened is you addressing elements of the game, mechanics-wise.
Yeah.
So you took a look at Padraig's stats, didn't you?
Yes.
Now, you've changed some of them at the beginning of this session. What did you do?
Well, it was more of a case of not really changing his stats, but rather changing how the unnatural stat bonus works.
Right.
Now, normally in Heresy up until Deathwatch, it's times ability, but when they introduced Black Crusade, it's plus to it, instead like a +1 or all the way up to a +4 for characters, at least anyway. For monsters in the bestiary, there's something like a +5 or a +6 in there for some demons or something.
Right, yeah.
So instead of having him have the ×2, I just gave him up like the +2 instead. That was meant to be required.
It's to bring Chaos Space Marines and normal Space Marines into line. That's how you originally noticed it, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
And you realised at the time from looking at Black Crusade, how would I ever get them to cross over and meet?
Exactly.
They are different.
It's either, I've got to either use the previous rules for the new characters or the new monsters, or change the rules in the old one, which pretty much was just a lot simpler.
You also implemented new changes to the fire mode rules.
Yeah, well, the single shots are a +10 to hit, semi-auto is a +0, and full auto is a -10.
Right, so
everything else stays the same apart from the hit modifiers.
Now, this changes from what was originally there in the rules. In fact, as the rules originally have it, a normal shot is just normal, a single shot. A semi would be a +10,
yep,
and a full auto is a +20. Now, we did do a video about this, and you'll be able to see that sandwich somewhere between us two. You can click on that, and you'll see the semi-auto versus full auto debate video.
Yeah.
When we were thinking about it at the time. Well, we came to a good resolution by just swapping round the +10 and +20% round for semi and auto. We thought, well, instead of it being +20, we'll make that the +10 and then the semi's +20 to make you want to use it more. But of course, yeah, the Black Crusade changes make that single shot a bit more lucrative, right?
Yep.
I think you were inspired by one of the people that watched this series, Captain Machine, who did a video talking about somewhat our video and talking about his experiences with Black Crusade.
Yeah.
Talking about the fire modes. And he referred to our video in his video, Hi There, Captain Machine. And so I think that gave you the oomph to make the final push. And it's interesting how the community can bounce back and forth like this, because we obviously did a video about it. He watched it. It brought up a new perspective that he hadn't thought of before. So then he comments, and I respond to his comment, and then that makes him think a bit more. And then he considers it deeply, and then he goes away, and then he makes a video about the subject himself, saying what he's going to do. And so he's taken that and took it further. Then you've looked at that. It's a constantly evolving thing, and then you've evolved on what he's done.
Yeah.
The community constantly works together and supports each other, don't they, in that way?
We're all one big family, really.
Yeah. Now, during the last mission we were on, we lost our Inquisitor.
Yep.
Yeah, she's dead. So, we had to be introduced to a new one. Oh, boy. She did let the team get away with quite a few things.
Possibly a little bit too much.
But you've now got something that's so far the extreme. It's almost too far, and I think it was a shock to the system for some of the team.
Especially with the way they were acting, like they didn't care what this guy said.
We've actually ported over a character that we used in our Warhammer Fantasy roleplay games when we played 2nd edition. Anybody that's followed their fated travels would know of him as Malvanius, the Witch Hunter. So obviously Witch Hunter, Inquisitor.
Makes a good Ordo Hereticus Inquisitor as well, just because of that.
Yeah, he's a real bastard.
Oh, that's one way to put it.
He sees fault in everyone. He sees every light casts a shadow, as far as he's concerned. And he'd look at a space marine and be like, "Yeah, I'm watching you." When you're gonna
give him the slightest excuse, he will. Everybody's
got bad in them, as far as he's concerned. He's the kind of Inquisitor that even the other Inquisitors think of as an asshole.
He's extreme to the max.
We've ended up with him as our Inquisitor. Yeah. So, and now he's got a bit of a habit of pointing weapons at people when they speak. It's like, I'm addressing you now, so it's a gun at your face, and then a sword at the other person. So just trying to chat about the weather can end up in a Mexican standoff with this guy. But that's pretty much what happened. As the group met him, he introduced himself,
and Kizdeen, in her normal fashion, does her rather unique introduction of herself.
She speaks in a overly familiar manner that, when given somebody of that rank, stature, and personality, is going to see as being too far above her station and into the realms of disrespectful.
Let's put it this way, Malvanius does not walk around with the safety on. He even would have a power weapon constantly activated, even if it's attached to his hip. No, it was a power sword at Kizdeen, and then, when Padraig stepped up to try and defend Kizdeen, he got a bolt pistol pointed directly at his nose.
And then the sister didn't take that very well,
no.
Sophia, because she's very high in her own station, feeling that she's a battle sister of whatever rank she is.
And Malvanius won't give a crap what rank you are.
I think he would probably he'd probably put down a Space Marine chaplain.
No, he'd probably go for a Primarch if he thought he could.
He's just a complete asshole, but he's very efficient and he does his job.
Yeah.
And, he wouldn't turn, and if he did turn, he'd probably kill himself.
Yeah. I think the only person who knew better than to do anything at that point in time was Maestro? Jericho. I'm getting you mixed up with someone else now.
Yes, that's the old wizard we played in that. Now, Jerichus was the unusual, in some respects, the most interesting element, even though he really didn't get to do anything, because Sophia actually pulled a gun out.
Oh, yeah.
And bared it at Malvanius.
Right in his face.
And at that point, the safety was coming off Jerichus's gun, and he was waiting for orders here to defend the Inquisitor. Now, even though it's his own team that's in a bit of a ruckus here with the new Inquisitor, it's an Inquisitor of the Imperium, and the Inquisitor's rank takes absolute rank over
anybody else.
Mere acolytes. And basically, if it would have got into a threatening life or death situation where the Inquisitor's life was at threat, Jerichus would have attacked his own team. He would have opened up on them and tried to kill as fast as possible.
Oh, yeah.
All of them.
Definitely.
One after the other,
He'd be picking out the most dangerous target due to his combat senses.
So, Sophia almost went down.
Kizdeen did take a pot shot or something.
Somebody took a shot.
Yeah, but I know afterwards, Padraig, pretty much in his natural manner, instead of attacking the Inquisitor, pushed Kizdeen down and said, "Shut up." I'm not going to repeat what else he said, because it's just the way Pete is.
Yes, there's probably kids watching.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Malvanius had enough, and just clicked his fingers, and a psyker in the room did a racked the entire group with pain, except for Jerichus, because he was the only one not getting involved. Jerichus may have got a bit of an aftershock.
He got a bit of a side headache bleed effect, but Jerichus, as he explained, it was all right. It was a sanctioned headache.
Yes, this also led Padraig and Sophia to go stand next to the Psyker, with Sophia planting a grenade on the Psyker.
That grenade turns out to be a dud.
Well, that was Kizdeen's dud on Malvanius.
Yeah, all of this grenade planting and gun pointing. The group didn't have a very good start with him.
Oh, I know Kizdeen lost a fate point, and so did Sophia.
Yeah, basically, it was a gun at your face click. It would shoot you direct in the face, but you've lost a fate point, so the gun goes click and it actually
wasn't jammed or it wasn't loaded, and you just got lucky with a Russian roulette shot.
Given the fact of the way they all behaved, I think that particular Inquisitor, being the bastard he is, won't forget that.
Oh no.
And I'm actually quite surprised that an actual combat didn't go down. It would have been very characterful if it had, because it would have been a severe disparity between the team, which from an RP point of view, we're all mature enough players to have our characters turn on each other and try and kill each other, and all be aware that we are still friends and not really be angry at each other. Sophia's intention was to fire at him.
Yep.
So in some respects, maybe you shouldn't, instead of just like power fielding it or saying, well, the bullet won't do, just let
the first shot was going to be a power field. If she decided to go full auto, then I would start to take power field overcharge rolls into account, which can mean it can overload and not work anymore until fixed with tech use.
Yeah, but I mean, did you have it in mind that he had a power field going then, right from the beginning?
Yep.
Right.
I read up all the rules on power fields with all the books I could find and tried to find one that would fit for him.
Is that because he suspected that, or has this happened to him a lot?
It's just Malvanius.
Yes, I suppose so.
Besides, this guy doesn't take acolytes on normally because they're always just, well, idiots as far as he's concerned.
Yes. So, if Sophia had have decided to truly open up,
there probably would have been a combat encounter.
Full auto, Jerichus would have opened up on Sophia, shooting to kill.
Yeah, there would have been a 3-on-3 with Malvanius, Jerichus, and the Psycho I had in the room on one side versus Padraig, Sophia, and Kizdine probably, unless Kizdine would do her normal thing of like, I'm not getting involved, which he sometimes does.
Yeah, it would have been interesting because they could have had a bit of a duff up and someone lost some fate points somewhere. It would have been interesting. Yeah. It may bloody still.
Because these guys, they're not afraid of him, they say. And Malvanius isn't going to take any shit from them.
I think the others were a bit frustrated because you were trying to say, well, look, that's just Malvanius. And they were saying, well, look, we haven't got any history of what Malvanius is like. We appreciate that you guys have. Although I do understand where you were coming from by saying it, because I think you were trying to say it in a way of like teaching, well, this is what Malvanius is like.
Yeah.
Rather than, this is what Malvanius is like, you should know that.
No, it's like, he's an ass. Get used to it and try not to die.
I mean, I thought we were going to have all gone down just trying to have the mission read to us and trying to be given our mission. This is just at the beginning where we're just meeting our Inquisitor and being given our mission.
Yeah.
And we barely got through it.
This is the quest intro.
We've got bullets, guns, we've got 2 grenades in play. Yeah. What happened to the other one?
The other one blew up as you guys were exiting the room because the way Sophia had it triggered.
I mean, surely Malvanius would have looked at that and thought, execute the bloody lot of them. They're putting out live ammunition in my room.
He's thinking about it. But he's not going to go through the trouble right now of having to pick a new inquisitorial group of acolytes after giving you this mission already. He's going to just let you guys get through this. And then, if you piss him off again, he might just think about killing you right on the spot.
Or he could well be thinking, well, I'll just let the missions kill them. I'm going to give them missions that I know will kill them.
And if they come back, well, maybe they might just be worthy of inquisitorial.
If they come back, I'll send them on something even worse, even. If he can't get away with offing them himself, although that would have been a perfect excuse in a way, because, he was threatened with firearms, although he's threatening as well. I suppose it is the acolyte's job to serve and to be completely respectful of their master at all times.
The problem is, one of them has absolutely no respect for authority. One thinks she's above authority. Padraig, I'm not sure what he's like. And Jerichus, it depends on whose authority he has to act on.
Now, I don't know if you've ever noticed before, but Laurie here says a particular phrase a little bit too often.
Yeah, I pretty much do.
Pretty much does, yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I've decided to make it into a drinking game. So every time he says pretty much, you take a shot.
Yeah, similar to the Jack Bauer damn it game.
Yes. Of course, I'm going to have to make a drinking game at this rate every time I fail a test.
Yeah, it's considering how bad you had it last time.
I can't believe what was happening at this session. Everything I was trying to roll for, I fail, and then I spend a fate point and still fail. And these are things that I'm like plus 20 talented in, skilled in. What the heck?
You had some bad dice that day.
And it was just over and over, every single test. Oh, it's a toughness test, it's this and that. It's just fail. Everything I could fail, I fail.
Baron Hopes. Last adventure in Purge the Unclean.
As always, link in the info bar if you want to check this book out. Okay, so we were already one level too high for it.
Well, you're just about over in rank 6 at that point, so yeah.
Because it's for rank 5s, isn't it suggested, yeah?
Up to rank 5s, pretty much.
Okay, pretty much. We had to fly for something like 3 months through space to even arrive. I don't want to go into too much of this. I'm going to try and remain somewhat spoiler-free here.
Basically, land on the planet, find out what's going on, and how we're going to stop it.
Encourage a particular person to come with us, who had to come with us.
Yeah. And they got, at that point, we're still in FMV.
Yes.
As the guys called it at the table.
So we land, we get going. The idea was to try and be subtle, investigate subtly. It wasn't very subtle, was it?
No. We met up with the arbitrators, or at least the head arbitrator on the planet. He took us to the Ops HQ, and you guys discovered the pattern of the attacks.
Ah, that's right. We had a look where there's been terrorist-like bomb attacks, and we were able to discern, thanks to Sophia's forbidden law. What was it? Forbidden law?
Occult, or... No, that's
demonic, was it?
So yes, the demonology.
Able to use that to determine where the next attack was going to be, and so we planted ourselves there.
And Pete just looked at the map and was like, "Ooh, pretty pattern." Because he rolled 100. Yes.
Well, he was eating sponsor Maryland cookies at the time. So I jokingly said, "Yeah, no, Padraig's actually going to go, Maryland cookie?"
And Sophia rolled...
He's going to cross over into his character, so he says it.
And Sophia rolled 01, so she pretty much just handed him another cookie and patted him on the head gently and said, "Just go sit in the corner, dear."
So the main place, it had 4 levels to it. It had ladders joining them up.
An elevator and
I stuck a rope down alongside one of the ladders. We knew that they were going to be trying to bring a bomb in. Well, we thought about 4. We expected, but we figured maybe they were all going to be trying to carry the bomb, but no.
Just one big hulking giant of a mutant decided to carry it by himself.
Yep, they came in, we opened up, we killed the psycho person first, because they can be dangerous, they can do a load of group control things, and they're the unexpected element, and, you know, Jerichus in particular doesn't like unexpected, so...
and Padraig doesn't like psychos.
Jerichus and Padraig, they sniped together, and took her out.
Sophia pretty much just took out the big hulking bomb carrier.
So he falls and the bomb's sitting there. There was an interesting foe left. A seemingly unkillable foe.
Yeah.
Bullets shred right through it and leave holes. And still it comes.
Yeah, he didn't care at all.
And he was just coming to try and to activate the bomb, right?
Well, bomb was activated beforehand, but they had enough time to be able to drop it and get out.
He was trying to head to the bomb, though.
Well, considering Sophia had just piled a ton of bullets in the direction of the bomb, because it was being carried by the mutant, this guy was going to check it to see if it was still functioning.
Jerichus swings down, comes down the ladder and swings down off the rope, tries to engage and tries to stun and can't stop him. No one seems to be able to stop him.
And this is what gets really annoying, is Jerichus wanted to disarm the bomb, but because of the module, Jerichus doesn't get to use the skills that he has recently purchased.
Yeah, he's recently picked up Demolition as an advanced from the other Assassin's tree.
Yeah, because there was the one mission where there was Demolitions called for to disarm a melter bomb, but Jerichus didn't have Demolitions at the time. Now he has it. Even Rob made a point of this at one point. He was like, "I'll get the skill and I won't need it."
Although, in hindsight, the bomb wasn't really an important factor of the module, was it?
Not really. Not in the sense of, like, you needed to disarm it or it was getting out of there.
You could have allowed it to just be disarmed, couldn't you? You could have overrode the module and said, well...
Well, considering what they wanted you to shoot it to disarm it, I think, yeah.
Shoot the bomb to disarm it. Come on. That's silly. I think you're letting yourself get a bit too sort of restricted by the module again, aren't you?
Yeah, well, let's see. We haven't done anything for a few weeks, so...
Yeah, we all felt a bit green trying to come in
by the time this module was over, I just regretted it pretty much myself. It felt a bit poor, From a GM's perspective, anyway.
The bloody great big thing ends up running out of the room anyway, setting off some planted charges, seemingly.
Yeah, to cave in. Stop anyone from escaping.
Yeah, caves in so we can't pursue.
Again, written in the module to begin with.
We end up going up in the lift and taking the bomb with us.
It was just doing random lift music while they were at it.
We've called the a bomb containment unit to be brought in, and it finally arrives. And when we get to the top, there's a load of undead. Yes, you heard me. Zombies. Everywhere. Hundreds upon hundreds of them, and they're fighting the Arbites, aren't they?
And any other planetary defences, pretty much. So, it's realistically at this point, 40k, futuristic, zombies, what?
Zombies are part of the 40k universe.
Yeah, we know, but it's just like a lot of people won't expect it, really.
They come up with an idea of saying, well, we'll try and use the bomb to get rid of everyone, and we called a mass evacuation that we're going to set off a bomb. So we all decided, well, we'll do it by getting in the anti-explosives container ourselves, then setting it off. So Jericho stuck a kilogram of demolition charge.
After yet another failed test in the first place.
To attempt to destroy the bomb crudely. A fuse appropriately enough, and went in the box. The thing goes off. The zombies were... a load of the zombies around the blast radius were fused into the ground where they stood.
Pretty much.
Stuck to the spot. You said that we're missing something at that point. We didn't know what to look for because we didn't know what we couldn't see, if you know what I mean. And you said we should have said, oh, can we see anything else? But
there was more of a case of like, what do people usually say at this point? But then again, everyone's not really meant to be looking.
Does the module not have any player read text or anything? The guy you fought down below, he's actually up top because he's up there.
No, there was nothing to say it, and
we're looking around wondering what to do, and he's actually up there, and seemingly the one controlling all the zombies. So we go up and engage him, and Jerichus is already now suffered from a new malady of the mind, due to when they got a piece of this bomb material previously, he took a bite on a piece of it. Because he does weird things like this.
Yeah, stick my tongue into this holographic projector. Does it taste of anything?
You know, he's categorised what sparkles taste like.
He does,
They do have a particular flavour. He bites on this thing, and it gave him 4 corruption points, which was enough to have to do another test.
Which was his first mutation test as well.
He got 30 corruption points.
Yeah.
But just ended up with
just a malignance.
Yeah, he ended up having a problem, and it was decided because it's Jerichus. It's around merriment and laughing. He's minus 10% on all tests. Unless
if he fails a toughness test.
Yeah. And, of course, this impervious to damage guy, the one that got away, that did the bomb below, and he's now up top himself.
Yeah.
He's laughing at us. Jerichus goes all crazy. He's like, it's raining upside down. I'm standing on my head. The world's upside down. It's raining up. And there's a little bit of vomit coming out of his mouth, and he can't keep it in because he's failed his toughness test. And it's the laughter. The laughter's going through his head, and it's the cop's head on each side, kind of like.
He's just standing there, vomiting a little, and he's CC'd, as you put it.
Then the guy we brought with us, because we're shooting and cutting the crap out of this summoner guy, and nothing's working. Our shots are just going through him, and he's just. Finds it amusing that we can't do him harm.
Well, not going through him in the ethereal sense, because they are actually hitting a physical object. It's just they weren't slowing him down, or acting like he gave a care to the fact that he just had like 10 bullets poured into his body.
This is the bit that is spoilerific, okay? So if you don't want a spoiler, I would suggest clicking ahead an annotation that I'll try and stick up on screen for you now. This is where the NPC that came with us actually has blood in his veins that can hurt this thing. I don't even understand. Why is his blood able to hurt it?
It's a dark pact.
Between the two of them?
The guy, the summoner guy, he had made a dark pact with a demon, and he's pretty much invincible to all things, but there's always a weakness when you're dealing with demons, when I'm making a pact. In this particular case, it was our accompanying friend was the only one able to kill him, or weapons that are anointed with his blood. As you guys pretty much put it.
And Padraig kind of shouted at this guy and showed him his own scarred face and said, "Look what I've done to my face. Anoint me. Anoint my blade now. Anoint it."
Well, what do you think I'm going to do to you?
Yeah, quite reasonable of Jerichus just to say, "Anoint my finger," and then poke.
Yeah, his reaction was, "Ah, my eye, it burns!"
The combination of everyone's weapons and Jerichus's poke, bearing in mind, he didn't cut his fingernails, so stop laughing.
Don't laugh in front of Jerichus. It's bad enough before, but now it's a hell of a lot worse.
Yeah, that makes him mad as well now. That makes him mad because you're making him feel nauseous.
Yep.
He'll shoot you if you don't stop laughing.
Before, he just found it a bit silly that you're laughing in a dark.
Oh no, it upset him. It upset him because he didn't. Like people that are like semi-deaf or got a bit of an ear infection, and they hear like clanking pots or something or metallic sounds. It really goes through your brain and sounds all horrible.
Yeah.
At times like that, it's kind of horrible through him like that.
But now it's just amplified.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, we got the blood. We took him down. It was all a bit dumb, really, wasn't it? We got out of there. Malvanius turns up and he says, "Well, you can off the guy now. For all I care, he's a prisoner." Jerichus didn't quite understand it. He was a prisoner. Why is he being kept as a prisoner? He wasn't going to go against the order if they were going to off him.
Well, considering that you guys were pretty much conspiring against me.
The team conspired that they were going to kill our political prisoner anyway.
By sticking a proximity mine on him or whatever.
Now, of course, that wasn't Jerichus because, it's nothing to do with the mission. That's all he cares about. He's not there for any personal feeling.
But Sophia, Padraig, and Kisdeen decided to do so.
Mm.
So stick a proximity grenade on the guy that has the proximity of the group attached to it.
He gets offed, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
But he was a heretic.
Yeah.
So that's why no one really cared. It'd be easier to do him in, seemingly. That was the feeling. It still doesn't seem...
It didn't make much sense to me either.
Any sense. For some reason, the module wants him dead.
He served his purpose. He was condemned as a heretic in the first place. They thought he might be useful later on, so they kept him alive for a while, but he officially, by the records, he was dead.
Oh, yeah, it's already in the records he's supposed to be dead. Yeah, I suppose they want to keep him that way, just in case he pops up and proves the record book's wrong. Yeah. And people will be doubting things. Maybe there's something like that. Maybe they don't want the accountability.
Yeah.
Of something coming back and biting them. I've went all stat upgrades this time, so I took my fourth and final before pre-ascension agility. So
that's a full plus 20 to you.
Plus 20. I took an int one, so I went from 27 to 32 now, because my demolition uses intelligence, so I wanted to try and get that up a bit for that sake. And I also put my weapons skill up as well. And that was already quite...
Oh, I thought you'd want to try going for willpower as well at this rate.
I didn't have enough experience to do it.
That'd be
it's
why.
Getting expensive now at this point.
Now, after all that, right at the end, I decide I'm just going to... Because you guys set off the bomb, because the bomb was meant to weaken the real world, real space with the warp and all that nonsense, the barrier between the two, there's going to be some fallout of possible warp corruption on you lot. Of course, Rob again failed his dice roll to resist it, but Pete comes along, and at the first time at least anyway, says, "I'm dying," because he passed his test. I'm just sitting there drinking it. I'm like, the hell, Pete?
I'm drinking it in, yeah.
I was like, are you trying? Are you purposely trying to get it now? Get the corruption points. Yeah. I was like, right, instead of me giving corruption points to the rest of the group, you can have all of them.
So
he pissed me off enough that I'm saying, right, next time you gain corruption, I'm having you gain fully 100.
And you said that he was gaining all of ours.
Mm-hmm.
He absorbed all of the bad so that we didn't have to.
Exactly.
And he hit 100 corruption.
Yeah.
This was something that Sophia noticed in him up in the ship, and seemingly in the locker rooms, as I suppose Sophia goes in the boys' ones, because they probably banned her from the girls' ones.
Yeah. Or she just decided to confront Padraig just because, hey, needed to be done.
And yeah, so she's like, there's something different about you. The battle ensues, trying to seize the initiative, as Padraig did by rolling an extra die and spending a fate point. and then
Sophia doing the same.
does it and then regains the initiative to shoot first and determines that it would only take one round of auto fire.
It would take one round of a single shot because it's a storm bolter.
Yeah, to stop him immediately.
Basically, 2 bullets and it's enough to kill him.
You let him have a round back anyway because of the malignance of his newly possessed evil form, letting him keep going enough. He took a load of that damage, and he also mutated.
Although none of those mutations would carry over when he goes Black Crusade with Padraig. Of course, as a human character, not a flippant Space Marine. I'm not having him be a Space Marine. You have to be a Space Marine before you can even become a Chaos Space Marine in the first place.
So Padraig has fallen to Chaos, and he is gone from the group. He escaped, he got away, he burnt a fate point to get away. There was a bit of PvP there to decide it, but yes, even if he'd have got to shoot first at Sophia still would have wiped the floor with him. Mm-hmm. So powerful is
unless he managed to get really lucky.
It would have been crazy if Jericho would have had to have fought her because, to try and defend Malvanius. That would have been awkward, wouldn't it? Because
Jericho wouldn't try to get in her line of fire.
As force of...
I know that much.
Pete had to roll a new character.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he was already getting quite high on the corruption front anyway, so he started rolling one before the session even began, just in case something was going to happen, and well, gosh, it did, didn't it? Yep. But he was lucky enough because you've put in a policy here that somebody dies or goes out of the scope of the game
for one reason or another.
Their newly rolled character should come in at the very base level of the rank the previous one was at.
Yep.
So the previous one had just ticked over
8,000 points.
Rank 7. We've all entered rank 7 now by finishing this adventure. So he was lucky in that sense that he hasn't really got lost experience.
Yep.
Really. And so he's freshly creating a Psyker. It's going to go the Pyro route. If you want to know more about Psykers, I'll stick a video up on screen that we previously did explaining about Dark Heresy Psykers. He's going to now play a Psyker. Now that's quite funny, right? Because he's got the hatred Psykers thing normally, and now he's going to be a Psyker. But we laughed at that because he's got something in his in his RP, or is it in the rules actually, where he's a flagellant. He
took
flagellates himself.
He took the talent
that
the class allows him to take.
Okay, and so because that's the fact, because he hates Psykers so much, he tries to do his maximum damage to Psykers at all times. So the player, now he's playing one, is still trying to do maximum damage to Psykers because he's one, so he's bound to be trying to hurt himself, as one of our players at the table pointed out. You can look out for new information coming for that. The new character, who we believe is going to be called Harold.
Something along those lines.
It's raining upside down.
Yes, Harold. For some reason.
For some reason.
Yes.
Yes.
Houdini.
Yes, that's what it's based on. It's based on Houdini. That's where he's getting it from. Right. So.
Character's already starting with Zanny points as well.
He'll dement it and corrupt it and turn it into him. In fact, it is already turning it into him because
sanctioning side effect.
Yeah.
The horror. When he sleeps, he has vivid nightmares.
So we are an arbitrator down and we're a Psyker up. Oh, this is going to add some problems to the group dynamic, isn't it? You'll be able to see what happens from next session on. Thank you for joining us and putting up with our silliness while we recap the events of session 14 in this vidcast. Stay tuned for more videos in this series and all of the other series we do with all the other gaming and non-gaming and
various other things.
Events, stories, ideas and concepts that we are continually putting out. If you're not already subscribed, well, it can't hurt to subscribe, can it?
Especially when you get an experience.
That's it. We're going to be putting out different sorts of content, so you could choose what we do that you want to watch. But at least if you're subscribed, then you're not missing anything that I may be doing or may eventually do that could be of interest to you in gaming. But until next time, From myself and Laurie, the GM, I'll see you at the table.